Hi and welcome to Rockin' the Planet with Shane. Yes, I've got a great night ahead of us and it's a special edition of Rockin' the Planet tonight. We've got Dragon, we have Mr. Gary Brown, the founder of the New Zealand Walk of Fame up there in Orewa, north of Auckland. And of course we've got Mr. Mark Williams, our own favourite pop star, an iconic pop star from the 70s and 80s here in New Zealand. Dragon are doing a great tour of New Zealand at this very time, and of course they took time out to accept their New Zealand Walk of Fame award. And here's Gary to tell us about it. Mr. Gary Brown.
Hey Shane.
The man who founded the New Zealand Walk of Fame. Tell us about it. I mean, it's fantastic. You've been working on this for several years.
We started in 2010. Our very first star was Ray Wolf.
Yeah.
And he put it down, the star on the Orewa Boulevard. And he said to me, holy crap, he said, you see this in Hollywood and now there's a star in Orewa. And it's all started from there. So it's been quite a ride over the last 10 years or so.
I can say, my last gig this weekend, I just came back from Taipa and Ray Wolf and Billy Christian were both there.
Brilliant.
At my gig. He looks like the wild hillbilly when he's up at home. No one sees that.
He's got hair everywhere.
Yeah, he's great head of hair. Good on you, Ray. But yeah, I just got to say, and he was your first star. I didn't
First
realise.
star, and then of course Susie Lynch, and then it carried on with Ray Columbus and the others as we go through. But it's important. It's important to get these stars down because you know we're not getting any younger. And someone came up to me. I remember I had about 5 or 6 down, and someone came in and said, "You know, why are you putting these stars down? We don't even know who they are." And that was the reason I said, well, that's why we're putting them down, because these are iconic Kiwi entertainers that need to be recognised.
That's right. And remembered.
Actually, and they're quite influential in the Kiwi entertainment
The
industry.
whole history of the Kiwi entertainment business is there.
Totally.
And you're honouring it.
Yes.
And they might not have heard it, but there's still a lot of people that do. And they're part of our history. The whole thing is history. Entertainment New Zealand history.
Well, isn't it funny, because once you start putting, like your next guest, Dragon, that are coming on, their songs are like anthems. I mean, every time they come on, it just goes incredibly wild, doesn't it?
And you look back and you don't realise, I still look on Dragon as a young band. I think back, next year is 50 years since they formed.
Is it 50 years?
50 years in 22. Now, the night of Dragon and their awards and so on, what did you really think of that night? I mean, did it go as well as you thought, planned?
It actually went better than I thought, because it has been 8 years since we put the Hello Sailor star down, and that was incredible. That was like a mosh pit. That was like full on with the boys playing, and to have Harry and Dave and Graham alive at the time, and it was fabulous. But the Dragon took it up that next step. I think it was the way the stars were presented, having the sponsors give them out, the amount of people that came along. We had a 200 waiting list.
And I enjoyed the walk down to the stars from the Cheek and Chong restaurant.
Yes, in
where
Orewa.
you held the event.
Yeah.
And they did a fantastic job.
The food was magnificent. The service was great. And I think a lot of people actually didn't know about the event, which is what I purposely did it that way. It was mainly people that through the grapevine in the entertainment business that heard about it.
May I say, there is a membership now. You can actually join the New Zealand Walk of Fame,
Is it
which
club?
is something everyone would, if you want to join, you get exemptions and different things.
You get privileges and you get special seating, which a lot of people missed out on, but you do get priority seating and as a VIP member, and there will be certain discounts, coded discounts on our big shows when we do our big Walk of Fame shows.
So it's well worth joining.
It's well worth joining, yes it
and
is.
keeping in touch, and like you said, there's going to be an overwhelming amount of different entertainers going to be coming on.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic,
and having their star in the place.
And to see them right there doing a historic event as unveiling their star,
it's fantastic.
It's awesome.
History.
Welcome. This is our first star unveiling for 8 years. 2012, we had Hello Sailor come down and put their star. So we need to remember these people, and this is the reason why we put these stars down. The New Zealand Walk of Fame star presented Todd Hunter Dragon for a lifetime achievement in the New Zealand music industry by New Zealand Walk of Fame, Orewa, Auckland, New Zealand, 26th of January 2021. Would you like to present that to Todd? Present that to Mark. Pete Drummond, everybody. Bruce Reed. And ladies and gentlemen, and I want to give a special plaque to Shane Jerome, the production man from Dragon. Come up here, Shane. And ladies and gentlemen, another one to our other sponsors, GJ Gardner, for the sponsorship of the Dragon Star. Guys. Well, isn't it amazing that we got a star down this year for them?
Because they started in '72.
Yes.
So in a year's time, Dragon has been, those songs have been made famous over the last 50 years, but they're still living, and they've got a life of their own. They'll never die.
I think it's quite amazing how the Kiwis seem to have the intuition to keep on going. I mean, we've got artists. Look at you. I mean, you're still performing and with a Shazam band and just rocking it. Yeah. Like you wouldn't believe.
And having a ball.
And having a ball. Yeah. You always stay young, don't you, with music?
I think it's the whole entertainment thing keeps you young. You're the same. You're an entrepreneur. You're an entertainer. You've got your the spy who shagged me fella.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Austin Powers.
Yeah, Austin Powers. And you are apparently the only Austin Powers
authorised
authorised
in the world, yes.
Yeah, well, that's pretty incredible.
It's quite cool for a country boy from Orewa.
Was that hard to get? Just changing the subjects.
It was difficult. Once I had started travelling to Dubai to perform and all over the world, I was going to London and Vegas as Austin. Yeah. It became synonymous with the sevens, the rugby sevens, and then Hollywood. Well, should I say Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema got a hold of my website and said, "What are you doing? There's so many copyright infringements here." And I went, "Oh, okay." So we talked for quite a while, and we negotiated in the end, and they have given me the authority to.
I've
to
always
be a
said,
character.
just do it and worry about the consequences later, because then you can deal with it. You know, at least you've got the hit record. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I had the same problem like with St. Paul years ago. In EMI, I kept saying, just release it. We'll worry about the royalty thing and all the problems that go with the legal stuff, the legal aspects. We can sort that out later. At least I've got a hit record, you know.
Well, you just don't know how it's going to work, do you? Because nowadays with YouTube and stuff, sometimes it goes off and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. So if you put it out there and the response is great, then you can deal with it and work out accordingly, work out solutions.
Exactly.
Whereas if it goes as a flop, no one's going to care anyway, are they?
No, your wonderful New Zealand Walk of Fame. I'm just going to ask you, what inspired you to actually create this?
Isn't it funny? Because being an entertainer, when I started working with people like yourself and Tina Cross and Tom Sharplin and all the guys, I thought, there's nothing there for people to remember them by. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing. I think there's a Hall of Fame. Is there a Hall of Fame?
I'm not in it, so.
No, which I don't know much about.
I'm not famous enough.
But I felt that it needed to be visible. Yeah. It needed to be, the Walk of Fame covers 5 aspects of the stage, radio, TV, the media and film. So we have a wide range. So you've got different categories that are in there that are important. We have actors that have been influential on the screen, directors that have directed James Bond movies and The Piano with Jane Campion. There's so many wonderful stars out there and still working today. Anna Paquin, you know, you've got Carl Urban who's been acting everywhere, and then you've got all the performers that are just Kerry Te Kanawa. Yeah. You know, we should really put one down for her.
And there's so many people still treading the boards here in New Zealand.
Absolutely.
Doing it.
Absolutely.
And drawing crowds and filling the venues and so on.
Yes.
And that's the important part. I mean, you're not going to be working if you're not filling anywhere or getting any punters, you know. So it just shows you it's a huge business, and people try to pretend it's not there or something, I don't know.
But every function you go to, Shane, I think people remember it by the entertainment. Yeah. You know, if you've got great entertainment at a function, people remember it so well. And that's the difference. You know, you go to a function that has poor entertainment, you go, oh, it's all right. Yeah.
They walk away from a show and say, oh, that was a great night.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And it's about making memories for people that can cherish for later on.
So for the future of the New Zealand Walk of Fame, I mean, it's well established now.
Yes.
You've had a hell of a fight on your hands. You've fought with American copyright people.
With Hollywood,
with Hollywood, etc., to get these stars in the ground. You actually became a councillor, is it right?
I'm chairman of the local board for Hibiscus and Bays, local
Yes.
board, yeah, for Auckland Council.
And congratulations
Thank you.
on that. But that's all worked because you've been so involved in the politics of the whole thing.
I think so. Yes, it's important to be with entertainment. You've got to diverse yourself, and I had a lot of frustration with the Walk of Fame
Trying to get
and different events that I was putting on with outdoor concerts and stuff, and I got put up against barriers, and I thought this isn't right.
Yeah,
it's as I've mentioned before, I think in the VAC awards and bits and pieces, it's important that you go through those barriers. Don't give up, because it's only a small minority that are keeping you from pursuing where you want to go.
Pursuing where you want to go, and you've gone there, that's for sure.
I hopefully have, yes.
I think you've established it now. You've finally won the fight, if that's the word. Won the war. But and I just look forward to seeing a long walk of stars in the future. Can I ask you just any little clues as to, is there any more stars on the way?
There'll be a lot. Look, we are looking for sponsors, because the sponsors is important, because they are expensive.
Okay, out there, anyone listening, sponsors. We are looking for sponsors for New Zealand's Walk of Fame.
You get to present the star yourself.
Yeah, and I've seen the new stars. They're absolutely beautiful. The one that Mark Williams and Dragon received. Yes. I want one.
We're going to sort that out. We will sort that out.
I've got the old grey one. It looks beautiful, and they are stunning.
Thank you.
I want to just see so many more down that.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Do you call it the Boulevard?
It's the Orewa Boulevard, but it's a New Zealand Walk of Fame.
Yeah,
so
Orewa
Boulevard, yeah. So it's important. I mean, we have artists. I've spoken to Tina Cross.
Yep.
Spoken to
so there's a little
Eddie Lowe.
Eddie Lowe, all well deserved.
Johnny Devlin.
Yes, Johnny Devlin.
Suzanne Prentice.
Yes.
Sharon O'Neill, Dinah Lee.
Oh, the list goes on.
The list goes on.
I think Dinah is talking about coming back here at the end of the year to live. That's what I've heard.
That'd be fantastic.
That would be absolutely fantastic to have her here and at Orewa receiving one of those.
And if any young ones are listening to this, search these people on Google.
Yeah, search it out
and see what they've done. See what they've done. It's incredible, the influence that they've been on.
Gary, you're doing a fantastic job as an entertainer and an entrepreneur.
Thanks, mate.
And I really respect the New Zealand Walk of Fame, but just don't forget, I want one of those new stars.
You'll get one, Shane. We'll get one of those.
Love
Great, mate. Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
To do is welcome my first very special guest, and of course it's Mr. Mark Williams. Mark,
how are you, man?
How are you, mate?
Good, thank you.
It is such a pleasure to have you here.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, 50 years or something, many years.
Yeah, no, I see you on Facebook.
It's just such a pleasure to have you here. Now, the gig the other night was fantastic. The audience participation, I couldn't believe. Now, how do you feel about it?
Oh, you could actually feel the buzz when we were, when we were just setting our sound check. Was five minutes before the doors opened. There were already a crowd out there, and they were all ready for it. They all knew that. It was just the whole aura about it.
Just keep them through, please, sir.
Apparently, you did a great job on the show, because you were given a full meal right before you went on stage.
That's the only downside.
You didn't realise you were going on quite so early, is that right?
Not at all, not at all.
Tell the truth.
I had like pork belly and rice and heaps of broccoli. Oh, I thought I had at least an hour before I had to go on stage. But he said, right, you're on in 5 minutes. And I'm going, I got the stitch. I could hardly breathe through some of the songs. It was the worst feeling, but you know, you got to do it.
Now, what I liked about the show was the fact how the audience just knew straight away where to come in. They would just join in and sing. You gave them you conducted them.
I know, yeah, it's like training them, isn't it? But they seem to actually respond to that really well. So out of rehearsal, before our first gig, Todd would say, well, I want them, you know, to sing, quieten down, pull it right down,
Brilliant.
let the audience sing the verse, let the audience love the chorus. But then after that, we've got to own it back. We've got to own it again. So it just takes it back, really. It gives it to them, gives it to everybody, and that's how it should be, because it is involved, you know.
Yes.
But then we've got to say, okay, well, let's carry on to the next one. They have to work as much as we are. And that's always been. Oh, well, that's right. That's why I'm working tonight. But that's my motto anyway. I think it's an integral part of performance.
It was like it was like a spiritual sort of thing. Every song, everybody in the place sang every song.
That's right.
They knew the lyrics backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone sang. You were basically the high priest leading the choir. You know, they were out there singing.
And I'm sure that's how
amazing.
it was when Mark Hunter was there.
Yeah, and every
you know?
song was an anthem.
Every song's an anthem, yes.
Any career moves now with the Dragon? Are they looking at recording?
Always doing something. We've got a maniac drummer
Pete.
who absolutely drives us musically, I think.
There's a total bond between the four of you, I can see.
It feels like
Onward
that,
and
you know. We've gone through levels, and every time we go through a level, a stage, and you do, because you're living each other's pocket, every time we come out of it, we get stronger and stronger, and any dissension gets mellower and mellower. But we get stronger.
So I believe we can expect to see you coming back to New Zealand every single year. I hope we can. The fact that you've gone through COVID restrictions.
2 weeks, yeah. But yes, that was pretty fantastic actually, being in quarantine. It was fantastic only because we were sort of like spoilt.
Yeah, you were in your bubble.
We were in our own little bubble in the wing of the hotel, and we could go to each other's room.
Yeah.
They had arranged for equipment, studio equipment, like studio quality, and so we wrote, rehearsed. We had nowhere else to go. It's 2 weeks, and I think that's the best, most productive we've ever been.
Now, getting that star on New Zealand Walk of Fame, there's some great entertainers put there in the pavement as star-wise. It's fantastic. Was there an emotional thing to get this star?
I was hugely embarrassed. I cannot stand standing there as somebody reads out your whole life before you in front of people. I felt like I was just sort of shrinking in the whole thing. No, it's absolute honour, but I just wish I could be more relaxed about it. I was
You deserved it, though. Well
Thank you.
deserved, Mike Williams.
Thank you.
I mean, it all started way back when. You're from Dargaville that way?
Yep, Dargaville, that's when it started.
And
The neighbours across the road, there were 3 boys, and their father one year bought them 3 amps and 3 guitars. And I was on the other side of the road, and I used to hear them, learning and stuff like that, wishing I could be there, but I didn't have the guts to go over.
Knock on the door.
Knock on the door, yeah. I finally worked up the courage, and so to go over there, and because we'd grown up together, so it was kind of a natural thing.
Friends.
Yeah, they were friends. So yes, that's how I started. The reason why we came down to Auckland was because the year that we left school, we went into the Battle of the Bands in Northland.
All right.
And we won that and came down to Auckland, and everybody from Northland came down.
And then you got signed up with Fuller's Entertainment.
Yes, Fuller's Entertainment, and then from there the band kind of got fragmented because of girlfriends or something like that. But however it happened, yes, somebody took an interest. Kevin Moore took an interest in what I was doing.
Yeah.
And asked me to come on and do a show called Free Ride. That's where I met you. And Ray Columbus. He was hosting it. And then Alan Galbraith from who was working with EMI, A&R. in our artist repertoire, gave me a call, and I went down and the rest is history. It was from Tim Finn that I joined up with Dave Dobbin and me sang that song by Jenny Morris. So I was in her band, I was in Renee's band, I joined Ian Moss from Cold Chisel. I did the Hard Yards, did a 15-month tour with him, non-stop, and at that time, Vander and Young from the Easy Beats were looking for somebody to sing some songs that they had in the archives for a long time, but wanted to sort of complete. So that lasted me another 10 years until everybody forgot me.
Great performance. And you got the phone call, the magic phone call in 2006.
Well, in 1998, that's when Mark Hunter died. Yes. And I got a call from Alan Mansfield, the keyboard player from Dragon, to would I sing at the memorial. And Sharon O'Neill was there. It was an honour, and I remember it was Are You Old Enough we were going to sing. It all changed in that moment, you know. So I walked out of singing that song afterwards, and people were going to the car park at St Andrew's Cathedral, and a couple said, "You should join that band, join Dragon." You know, this is like 1998. 7 years later, I get a call at 10 o'clock in the morning from Todd. Something must have happened, and it was about time that the Dragon songbook had to come back out again, because it wasn't being played on the radio. It was getting forgotten about.
Okay, Mark.
Yes.
What about just bringing the guys out here, the rest of the guys from the band?
Why not?
And you can introduce them, and a flick of the fingers, it's just like that. They've appeared, Mark.
This is the band. This is Bruce Reid from Canada on guitar. Todd Hunter, who...
Wow.
Yes.
Poor Todd couldn't be here today.
This is our new star in the band,
Another
Shane Jerome. Shane Jerome. He looks after us, our tour manager, our babysitter. And now, Mr. Pete Drummond.
Token Australian.
From the Blue Mountains, who now lives in Victoria.
That's right.
Thank you, guys.
Anyway, guys, the reason it's wonderful to have you here, my mother is the biggest Mark Williams fan, I should say.
Well,
she's Irish, crazy, and she's turning 100 years old in a week's time. And this will be going on TV round about on her birthday. And I want to ask you just the biggest favour to sing Happy Birthday, Peggy.
Peggy.
To Peggy. So, Peggy, this is for you.
Here we go.
Dragon.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Peggy. Happy birthday to you.
Well, that's our show for the evening. It's been fantastic catching up with Dragon and Gary Brown, our very special guests, and special, I mean special. And this has been a special here on Face TV. And Rockin' the Planet with Shane will be back again very soon in the near future with another very special show. Meanwhile, don't forget, keep on rocking.